Now, I want to get into betrayal and forgiveness because I imagine the bulk of what you see with your clients, when you talk about betrayal, I think we mostly think about cheating, either emotional or physical, etc. But are there other common types of betrayal that you see in your practices that can really fracture a relationship?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And in the book, Betrayal and Forgiveness, I have 12 example. I call them couples, but they're not all actually married or intimate couples, because some of them, in one case, it's a brother and sister. In one case, it's a daughter and father. All adults. But so there's any kind of relationship, any kind of close relationship can involve the possibility of betrayal. So, absolutely, the most common one I see, because I work with couples. So the most common, mostly like married couples or partnered couples. The most common one I see is infidelity for sure. And
Mm-hmm.
I did kind of a seat of the pants guess, like what proportion of the couples that I see in the first session are dealing with infidelity, and it's not too much under half.
Okay.
Maybe 50%, whatever it is. 40, I don't know. I didn't actually count, but it's a substantial proportion. But there's other kinds of betrayal, even in a married couple. There's other kinds of betrayal, and there's other kinds of betrayal in other sorts of relationships. The one I gave that was involved a adult daughter and her father was one where we actually got this one from one of our podcast guests, who had experienced this. She wrote about it in the New York Times, and then we interviewed her on our podcast. She'd been disinherited by her father completely unexpectedly. Her father died suddenly, hadn't been sick or something, so he hadn't had a chance to sort of prepare. And when they read the will, she had been written out of it. And she knows they had had sort of
Wow.
a falling out some years before, but she thought it had been repaired. And probably it was, but he never got around to changing his will again. And so she was incredibly betrayed by that, and it was really difficult for her to recover from that. And so there's that one. I have an example of two very close friends who were also business partners, where one of them failed to file taxes for years. And they were both, the IRS put a lien on both of their houses. And this was totally blindsided the other person because she never mentioned it.
Mm.
There's that kind of betrayal as well. But indeed,
Okay.
many of my examples are within a intimate couple.